And I'm Xiu Liu. My colleague is in the audience. And today we'd like to share with you our efforts for improving cybersecurity by engaging software developers and using small but intriguing programs, which we call security gems. Right, so I first like to share some of the background data that motivates this work. The software, as we know, software became more and more important in more applications. And this itself is not new, but as a result, there are a lot of software developed positions. And in the US alone, now there are about 1.5 million software developers, and it is still growing. In order to meet the demand of software developers, the programs, computer science department and the program, and trying to meet the need, and this is done by not only trying to graduate more students, but also trying to developing tools, and they will be more productive in terms of software development. So as you see in the chart, the Python became the first introductory programming language in most of the schools in the US.
May I interrupt? The screen is fixed, it's not moving.
But the screen is fixed. Oh, sorry for that. Yeah, so the Python became the most popular language, and also many of the programs do not expose the students low-level concepts such as calling conventions and so on, right? So, and cybersecurity is very important, and that's the reason we are here. And to compare software developers, there are much fewer of cybersecurity analysts. And for cybersecurity, it's a specialized field, and we also use very specialized tools. Right, most recently, I'm sure many of you used Gator and many others. Right, those tools are very powerful, very useful. However, setting up the tools requires time, and also learning them may not be as straightforward. Right, so we cannot expect software developers are going to spend the time to learn the tools we as cybersecurity professionals use. Right, the question is, how can we engage software developers so that we can improve cybersecurity, right? So it's obvious software developers, they write the softwares and they play the essential role in cybersecurity, right? So with all the practical constraints, the question is, how can we engage them effectively and efficiently, right? So the key idea we have is to develop a small program that can be used to demonstrate the magic power of cybersecurity and without resorting to any special purpose tool, right? So that this program can be used by many students as possible, right? So for this kind of programs, ideally they should be very small, just few lines of code. Anybody can at least appear to be able to understand, and they should be universal, and they should not require any special tools for the student to be able to do. For example, if small program can run Linux platforms without any special tools, and they will be ideal, right? And more importantly, they should show some magic power, right? When the student runs such programs, and they should be surprised, they should be motivated, and to learn more about cybersecurity. Right, so we have developed a number of cybersecurity gems, right? This is one of them we developed, right? This one motivates students to learn return-oriented programming, right? The entire program is shown here, okay? If you look at the program, it's very straightforward. There's one function, check authentication, and this one, the CS here is salt, and the password, the actual password itself, it is encrypted, right? So basically, this check authentication is saying if you match the password, then you can get authentication. Otherwise, no, right? So, and then there are two other functions. I'm the expert, I'm the ROS, and those actually not called anywhere in the program, right? In this program. And the main is really very simple. We just check how many arguments, command line argument you have, and then just check the authentication based on the input, right? If it's the right password, access granted, otherwise access denied, right? The program can be, right, as I mentioned, they are not shown, and probably the student should not expect the two functions can be executed by the program since they're not called anywhere, and the password is encrypted. If you like, as the instructor, you can also ask the student to correct the passwords as well, right? The key is, right, we can demonstrate this program on any Linux platform, right? If we can run the program, and if we run this command, gonna say access granted, right? And more so, right? If we enter the following command, and we'll see, right, the two program, right? I'm a reverse engineer expert, I'm return-oriented expert, and those messages are shown, right? And at this point, the student should be puzzled why, right, those functions, even though they are not called anywhere, can be actually executed. You may ask the student how many times you can call this to, and so on, right? There are interesting questions you can ask the student, right? So this is a good example to introduce return-oriented programming, right? So even though most of the time, if you can call functions not called, it may crash, and sometimes you're gonna have the magic power. That's shown here, right? You know, if you're a student interested, you can show them the return-oriented program paper that has more, well, if the student want to learn more about return-oriented program. Right, here is another one we designed, right? This is even shorter, okay? The program essentially consists of string, right? This is a string, and we are from FSU. You can see go knows appeared many places in the string, okay? And the main program is very simple. We simply define a function pointer and call this string as a program. Right? So many times we ask the student, what do you expect and why? And all the students was surprised if we compile the program and run program. Again, this program can run anywhere on any Linux platform, and it's going to produce a shell. Right? And this is very surprising to students, and this can motivate students to study shellcode and other related cybersecurity concepts. Right, so we have developed a number of handouts based on those examples, try to engage more students in cybersecurity, and also we designed assignments based on the examples in entry-level computer science courses. Right, here is one example. Right, so this is one of the assignments we gave in CDA 3100, which is computer organization 1 course in our curriculum. Right, there are many other gems like this can be designed, and I think they can be very useful. And these examples are very effective, and many students are intrigued and surprised. And some students start the root cause of the problem. And there is a possibility some students could recognize the potential and they may explore evil applications. We have to warn the students, don't do that. If you do that, the consequences can be pretty serious. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer any of the questions you have. Again, if you have any questions, I'd like to have a copy of the examples. Please reach out to Mike, who is in the audience, or myself. Thank you.